I'm joined by Danae Kyriakopoulou, Head of Research at the UK-based Official Monetary and Financial Institutions Forum, OMFIF. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So Theresa May hasn't quite fired the starting gun on those Brexit negotiations, but she's given herself 6 months to slowly squeeze the trigger. Is this a hugely significant moment of history?
It is certainly a very important moment in the Brexit history. It's not as important as the referendum itself or as the day when she will actually trigger Article 50, but it is a milestone.
On practical terms, can the government actually get this Brexit bill through Parliament? Because they've only got a slim majority in the Commons, so there could be potentially tricky moments, couldn't there?
Well, certainly the slogan of Brexit was taking back control, but Theresa May herself and her 3 Brexit ministers have been the ones who have been in control so far. Parliament has not had any control over that, over the announcement, over this decision. It has been very controlled by Theresa May. So I think it will be difficult to pass it through Parliament, especially as concerns other regions of the UK. We've seen Scotland and other parts of the UK as well having concerns over the citizens and their rights in this proceeding.
Nevertheless, that deadline makes it ineluctably clear now that unless there is a mutually agreed extension to EU negotiations, Britain would leave the European Union by the summer of 2019. Will that give greater certainty now to the business community?
Well, it adds some predictability because we have a set date and because Theresa May's claim that Brexit means Brexit now has a date to it. But at the same time, I wouldn't go as far as saying that it's more certainty to the business community, because there has been an announcement of when Article 50 will be triggered, but there is no assurances of what a deal will be like. And 2 years, most civil servants have said that it's not enough to negotiate both a divorce arrangements and a new deal. So that is an element of uncertainty, and you have to bear in mind Europe's position in this as well. What is happening in Europe over these 2 years?
Absolutely. I'll talk about Europe in 1 second, but just to finish that business community, I mean, in addition to what you're saying, they still don't know if it'll be a hard or soft Brexit, because of course most businesses wanted to remain in the EU, didn't they?
Well, yes, certainly. Most economists and most people in the business community had this view, but we are where we are now. And the economic consensus, at least, is that a hard Brexit will be more damaging to the UK economy and the business community. So this is a hugely important point. And whether adding this date and, in a way, making Europe's negotiating hand stronger by giving this certain time frame could be leading to a hard Brexit being more likely.
Would other EU members, what would they make of this and the timing? Because as you mentioned when we were chatting earlier, this is coming around French and German elections next year.
Yes, well, the European side of the negotiations, they have said that they wanted the UK to trigger Article 50 as soon as possible so that they can begin negotiating. So on the one hand, I think it will be a welcome development. But on the other hand, I think they have other priorities right now. There is French and German elections, there is the constitutional referendum in Italy, and even if they want to prioritize negotiations with the UK over a new deal, it might not be feasible due to these constraints.
Do we know anything more about the post-Brexit vision now that this trigger has been they're squeezing it slowly? I mean, will Britain aim to remain in the common market whilst opting out of the free movement of people, for instance?
Well, that's not really going to be acceptable to Europe. That has been made clear by every single leader of European states on the record. So I think this is something that is hard to say that it will have both. And that's what I was saying earlier, that there are no assurances to the UK. There is no vision over whether the UK will remain in the single market or not following these 2 years.
Right. So given what you've just said, Does anyone have any idea of the negotiating strategy that Theresa May wants to put out there?
I think that's why the coming 6 months leading up to March will be crucial. I think this is the period where we will see what this strategy will be. And this is now the chance for the Europeans as well to accept that the negotiations can finally start. So I think we are starting an important period.
Danae Kyriakopoulou, Head of Research at the UK-based OMFIF, thank you very much indeed.